After defeating Xenos in Stormblood, Sid asks you to help his Ironworks company to find Omega, since no one has seen it since it fought Shinryu, and you agree. So you, Sid, Biggs, Wedge, and Nero, who has been hired as a consultant by Sid, go to Omega's crash site due to the Aether in the area having some disturbing readings. When you arrive, there's a giant pool of condensed Aether. Then Midgard appears, telling us that Omega is inside of it and that he encountered the machine a long time ago in space. Then a chocobo jumps out of the pool, being chased by a monster, but the monster misses the bird and phases through Sid. After this, Midgard explains that Omega can create life by manipulating Aether, and that the monster wasn't complete. Then the dragon speaks with the chocobo because your echo won't let you communicate with it because it doesn't have a soul. Then the bird explains that Omega wants it to fight for some reason. So Midgard tells us to jump into the pool of Aether to figure out what's happening. And you do. When your group enters the pool, you meet Omega, who tells us that the chocobo's name is Alpha. Then it forces you to join its experiment before explaining anything. After this, Omega explains that it's running an experiment to see what is the strongest being in creation, and we are a part of Alpha's group now. After this, Omega tells you that you're facing the Deltascape group. So Sid and Nero make a base of operation within this dimension to watch you during your fights. Then you fight the monster from earlier and win. Afterward, Midgard explains that Omega only does things to improve itself. So it's using this pocket dimension to find someone stronger than Shinryu to fight so it can become stronger. After this, Biggs and Wedge go to Cartanu to investigate where they found Omega. Then you fight Catastrophe and you win. When you get back to base, Midgard explains that Omega creates these different beings by looking through stories and history, since it has no soul or imagination. Following this, you defeat the last two members of the Deltascape team. Then your group leaves the pocket dimension to rest. After this, the game cuts to Omega planning to bring out your true potential by killing one of your comrades. After this, you, Sid, Nero, and Alpha go back to Rauga's Reach to tell Jesse what happened, but Biggs and Wedge haven't come back yet, so you three go to Cartanu and find them injured at Omega's awakening site. Following this, Omega explains that they can instantly create simple creatures anywhere on the planet and threatens to exterminate the planet if you back out of the test. Then everyone goes back to Rauga's Reach and Alpha gets an outfit. After this, you, Sid, Nero, Alpha, and Midgard go back into the pocket dimension for the next round of testing. But before you fight the Sigmascape team, Midgard gets into an argument with Omega where the dragon reveals that Omega and their comrades destroyed his home planet, and that is why he came to Aetheris, meaning that Omega is not a simple machine but a mechanical alien. Then Midgard explains that he's in his weakened state because he became a servant to Heidelin in exchange for his children staying on Aetheris. Lastly, he tells Omega that he's helping us because he doesn't want to lose his second home. After this, Omega leaves and you defeat the first two members of Sigmascape. After this, you, Sid, and Alpha leave the pocket dimension to talk to Biggs and Wedge, who are feeling better. After this, the game cuts to Omega spying on Nero by himself. But when you, Sid, and Alpha go back to the pocket dimension, Nero seems fine. After this, you fight and defeat the last two members of the Sigmascape team. Following this, Nero collapses, revealing that he was attacked by Omega while the rest of us talked to Biggs and Wedge. Then he tells Sid to stop holding back and to stop preaching about freedom through technology while he puts himself in chains. After this, the game cuts back to you, Alpha, and Midgard. Then Omega appears and it attempts to kill you so it can see your full potential. So Midgard uses his power to regain his physical form to help you. Then the dragon explains that he overexerted himself, meaning that he will go to sleep for a long time. And lastly, he tells Omega to continue the experiments like before to see your full strength. After that, your group goes back to Rauga's Reach to recover and rest. During this time, Jessie tells you that Sid smuggled some papers from Garlemald dealing with the lunar transmitter his father created. She says that Sid wanted nothing to do with the lunar transmitter due to an accident where the device vaporized an entire town in Boja. Then she assumes that he'll use that technology to help you defeat Omega. After this, Sid asks Jessie to finish what he was working on. Then you, Sid, and Alpha go back into the pocket dimension. When you arrive, Omega revealed that they made Alpha as bait to lure you in, even though Alpha didn't know this. Then Sid and Omega get into an argument and Sid leaves the robot speechless. After this, you defeat the last test subject, Chaos. Unfortunately, Omega says that it needs more data, so they make you fight a simulation of an enemy it couldn't defeat, Midgard in his prime. But Sid convinces Omega to give you a break before you fight the dragon. When you get back to base, Sid is invisible due to the water Alpha filled the kettle with. After resting, you fight Midgard, and after a tough fight, you win. When you get back to base, Sid tells you that he might know Omega's weakness. Then he asks to see Alpha's cards, and he sees one that makes objects change size. Then he gives Alpha his card back and a bottle of invisibility water. Then we go back to Rauga's Reach to get the device Jessie was working on, and it's an improved version of the lunar transmitter, and Sid hopes that the massive amount of electrical energy that the device gives off can defeat Omega just like Shinryu did. But Sid is afraid to use it based on its history, but with some encouragement from Nero, he picks up the lunar transmitter, and you, Sid, and Alpha go back into the pocket dimension for the final battle against Omega, and you win. But Omega gets back up and says that it will restart the test after it changes its form. Unfortunately, this means it can't sustain the pocket dimension, so you and Sid will drift into the void. Then the game cuts to Alpha alone within Omega's interdimensional rift. After this, Alpha chases after Omega for a very long time until they find the machine, revealing that you and Sid were on top of its head the entire time by using the invisibility water and Alpha's card. After this, you fight Omega in its new form and you win. This is when we find out that Omega simply wanted to understand people by becoming similar to them, which would explain their current form. And after talking to Sid, it seems like they understand. Then Omega fades away for the final time. Following this, the interdimensional rift begins to collapse, but Racefelger, Biggs, and Wedge save you. After everyone is safe, Racefelger explains that Midgard asked him to save you before he went to sleep, and that Midgard's slumber will last centuries, so you'll most likely never meet him again. Then Racefelger leaves and your group goes back to Rauga's Reach. After resting for a couple of days, Wedge figures out that Alpha wants to go on an adventure of their own. After this, everyone gathers to see off Alpha and they give him a replica Omega so they won't get lonely. After this, Alpha gets to the top of the hill and you can hear him thank you, meaning that Alpha has a soul now. Then the game cuts to Nero watching Alpha leave Garabania, and that is the end of the Final Fantasy XIV Omega storyline. With that being said, if you want to see more timeline videos like this one, or more video essays on your favorite video games and anime, like, comment, and subscribe with notifications turned on. But with that being said, it's been Skipx and I'm out.